The horse stance is of two types, the training horse and the fighting horse. The training horse is the basic exercise position for learning blocks, punches, kicks, etc., and for warming up. The horse stance is also utilized as a meditating ritual when beginning and closing classes. Why the name? This stance is called the horse stance because it resembles the position used while riding a horse. The horse stance is frequently used in forms, self-defense techniques, and freestyle techniques as an important stance change. The distance between feet is critical, but it will vary according to you. Generally, slightly wider than your shoulder width. If the feet are too close together, the stance is weakened and poor balance. Likewise, if they are too far apart, stance changes and kicking becomes difficult and maneuverability hampered. The correct method to obtain a horse stance is to bend the knees slightly forward and force out to the sides as though they were being pushed apart. Holding the feet in place, avoid bending the knees too far forward or placing the feet too far apart. The fighting horse is almost identical to the training horse. The difference lies in placing your feet in the direction you are facing. Thus both feet are in line with your direction of focus. Analytical study of the horse stances. Keep your chin up. Relax your shoulders. Keep your head erect and body perpendicular to the ground. Force your knees out and away from you. Place greater stress on the outer portion of your calf muscles. Your feet should be slightly wider than the width of your shoulders. Once the proper width has been determined, bend both of your knees naturally and comfortably, and you will automatically find your proper height. An interesting comparison. The knee can be compared with a shock absorber and should, therefore, be thought of as one. It should remain flexible between moves, remaining stable when and where necessary, and subject to instant directional change. The width, depth, and height of a stance must correspond with your dimensions. To give specific measurements is absurd. The training horse involves height and width only, whereas the dimensions of the fighting horse are restricted to height and depth. The following method can be used to correctly determine dimensions related to you. Place both feet together. Turn both heels out. Turn the toes of both feet out. And conclude by comfortably turning both heels out again. The method just described teaches you how to proportionally find your width. Once determining your width, squat comfortably and you will automatically obtain your proper height. In time, a step to your right or left will be sufficient to find the proper width of your training horse stance. The fighting horse basically has no width. However, to establish a proper depth of your fighting horse, you must first find the width of your training horse on your line of sight. After establishing this, have your head and eyes turn in the direction of your line of sight. Already having obtained the depth of your fighting horse, have both of your knees bend comfortably to establish your correct height. An added help. Please observe the following as a means of correcting the width of your horse stance. As your knees are forced out, they should bow out so that the sides of your calf muscles protrude slightly beyond the width of your ankles. Notice how this angle prevents a foot stomp originating from the top and side of your calf muscle from injuring your foot. Data summation of the training horse stance. Foot position. Feet should be slightly wider than the width of your shoulders. Toes in, heels out. Toe, toe, heel, heel. Weight distribution. 50-50. Weight is forced out to the outside edges of your feet. Reason and purpose. To teach stamina and patience. A training stance which allows one to concentrate on hand movements only without being distracted by the synchronization of foot maneuvers. Data summation of the fighting horse stance. Foot position, both feet are pigeon-toed with one foot ahead of as well as directly behind the other. It is like a training horse with the opponent to the flank. Head and eyes are focused to the flank. Weight distribution, 50-50. Knees are forced away from each other. Reason and purpose. Minimize target areas. Allow for a faster shuffle, side or back kick.